Sean Spicer flabbergasted when contributor says Heels Up Harris is showing strength by bringing her emotional support animal to an interview. So that's exactly what it is. It's her emotional support animal because she is incompetent. She can't sit down and have an interview by herself. She has to have someone there to hold her hand and protect her during this process. She got to have a white man there to protect her because she's, like I said, she's incompetent. She can't really speak that well. She can't articulate her ideas. I don't think she even knows what she believes in most of the time. The way she's been flip-flopping lately, she's for fracking, she's against fracking, she's against the wall, she's for the wall, and it's so confusing. And that's why there's a tape interview. You would never see her do a live interview. They can edit out the cackling and stuff. And she got to have someone there holding her hand. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. But before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button. Share this out so we can get this information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. Has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. Also, follow me on Instagram and X as well. All right, so let's talk about this news. Now, I'm going to get to the video in a second. I'm going to get to the clip in a second. But this is from the Daily Caller News Foundation from Jason Cohen. And he reports that News Nation political contributor Sean Spicer expressed surprise Wednesday when fellow contributor Scott Bolden described Vice President Kamala Harris's upcoming CNN interview with running mate Governor Tim Walz as a strong move. Nobody believes that. Who in there, right? You think Trump has to have J.D. Vance around when he does these interviews, or you think he can sit down and have a conversation off the cuff live? He's done it plenty of times. He sat down with Elon Musk. He sat down with CNN. He sat down with all these other places and people, and he sit down and talk for hours. She can't do that. That's why she got to have this man there holding her hand. The interview will be with CNN anchor Dana Bash, and it is Harris' first sit down since launching her 2024 presidential campaign on July 21st. Bolden on News Nation Now with Nicole Burley argued that Harris appearing with Walz rather than solo demonstrates strength, while Spicer countered that it shows the vice president is unable to handle even a friendly interview on her own. And I 1000% agree with that sentiment. So let's get to the video here. All right, so here we go.
You know, you did bring up that interview, so I do want to talk about that, Scott. This question for you. So now we know Kamala Harris is sitting down for an interview, but she's going to be joined by Tim Walz. So, you know, there is speculation on she's being joined by him because she may have a gaffe. She may misspeak. There's also the thought of, well, why would she give an interview up until this point? Because polls have been on her side.
Actually, the polls have not been on her side. They were looking for the bump after the DNC and after the DNC conference. It never happened. She didn't get the bump. In fact, she actually lost more support after that. So that's a straight up lie. That's a straight up lie. She needs this interview. Because even people that agree with her is questioning why she's not sitting down to tell people where she stands on issues. And now she got to have this white man here holding her hand during the entire process because she can't do it on her own.
But there is this criticism about her being joined by Tim Walz and, you know, doing this as a joint interview. Is her running mate going to help or hurt her tomorrow?
Well, we're building this campaign, the Democrats have, for the last 40 days or so. And to my good friend Sean Spicer, are you bragging or complaining about a candidate wanting it both ways? Seems pretty smart strategy to me. But in regard to the interview, interview,
I'll give Scott credit. It's great strategy. He's right on that. There's no question about it.
But in regard to the interview, real quick, I think we're introducing, the idea is to reintroduce Kamala Harris, but keep introducing Tim Walz as a team, if you will. Again, it's only been 40 days. We're building this political ship on the run here. All you need is one more vote than the next guy. And we're on our time frame. The Dems are. They're not on media's time frame.
But you don't
not
think
on Donald
in
Trump's
any
time
way,
frame.
Scott, that can be seen as a weakness for her to be joined by her running mate versus just sitting down one-on-one with Dana Bash?
Facts.
Well, I anticipate her sitting down one-on-one with Dana Bash at some point doing the interview that's going to run, and at some point Tim Walz is going to be doing a joint interview with her. But that's not a weakness at all. In fact, that's a strength, showing that my number two has plenty to say, and we're a partnership, and that we are moving forward together. So I don't see.
That's bull crap. That's malarkey. J.D. Vance goes out and does his own interviews. He sit down and he goes on all these other places by himself without Trump. Trump goes around and he have these sit down interviews and talk to all these people without J.D. Vance. Never in history have a president sat down for an interview with their vice president right out the gate. Normally the president sits and the person running for president sit down with the interviewer and have their views, what they want to move the country towards. They sit down and they talk about that. They don't have a second party there holding their hand. This lies. It makes her look very weak, especially as a female running for president. You would think that she would be in an interview by herself, projecting strength. That is not projecting strength. Having a man sit down next to you, helping you answer questions. That is not strength.
That as weakness at all.
Oh yeah, that's
Nicole,
one way to
these
look at
guys.
it. Go ahead, Sean.
These guys love to embrace pronouns. So let's be honest. What happened? She said that she would do an interview, and now it's they that are doing the interview. She can't handle doing this on her own. She wants to be commander in chief. It's CNN, for God's sakes. This isn't going to be tough. This is patty cake. Give me a break. If she can't handle an interview on her own, and with all due respect to Scott, because I love him to death, I gave him credit for the strategy. And I will stand by that. But we're 60 days out from an election, and she's talking about, we'll get around to it. This is pathetic.
Sean does bring up a good point, though. I have no doubt that she can handle this on her own, but does it give the appearance of her not being able to?
Hold on. Democracy's on the...
We don't even know whether it's going to be a one-on-one partly and a two-on-one partly. We just simply don't know. And I know that's your narrative, but that's not the Democratic narrative.
CNN
and I'm a little more qualified than you are, since you're a Republican and I'm a Democrat. Let's see what happens.
CNN put it out. CNN announced that it was a joint interview.
As a joint interview.
I mean, I do know.
Yeah.
And I will just say this.
We will see what happens tomorrow. We will see how it goes.
And I can't wait. Y'all know I'm gonna be covering it live tomorrow. So be checking me out tomorrow on that. I'm gonna do a live podcast on during the interview, and I'm excited. I can't wait to hear what she has to say. What both of them have to say, because I can't wait to see how he's gonna be covering for her and helping her get out of these things. But Harris has also neglected to publish a policy platform on her campaign website since she launched her 2024 presidential run. The vice president's campaign has faced scrutiny about Harris flip-flopping on major issues such as fracking. And y'all know I just reported on that today. Just did a video on that today. And former President Donald Trump's campaign alleged Harris's incompetence is the reason for the joint interview. I mean, that's what everyone thinks. Everyone believes that, and I believe that as well. Is because she can't sit down and articulate her position, so she has to have this man here holding her hand. Breaking on Thursday, 39 days since being installed as the Democrat nominee, Camilla will sit for her first formal interview. The Trump War Room posted on X. Joint, since she's not confident enough to do it on her own. Taped so her handlers have time to play damage control. News Nation host Chris Cuomo said during a Thursday podcast that Harris was evading the media due to her vulnerability compared to past Democratic presidential nominees. Quote, wouldn't have done that with Bill Clinton. They wouldn't have done that with Hillary Clinton. They didn't do it with Hillary Clinton. Hillary sat down and did her own interviews. They wouldn't have done that with Barack Obama. Facts. Because they felt there was no risk about putting those people in the chair, Cuomo said. He just made my point. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do y'all think she's sitting down with Walz because of incompetence and they need him to hold her hand? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.